This is Daf Yomi Yerushalmi. The article is another edition on Daf Samach Beis Amrav at the Mishnah. And in the Vilna edition, should be Daf Lamed Beis Amud Beis. No, Beis Amrav. Amar V'Shlosh Kvanim. V'Yikarem Nirim. So this is, as we said, the last picture in the Reb Chaim Kanievsky. So yesterday, you have three Gefanim. These are actually not sure which are the new ones. These are three Gefanim. You make runners underneath the ground, and you bring them up over here. So Marvish is V'Yikarem Nirim. Rabbi Lezer, Rabbi Tzachar, Rabbi Yeshbein, Arba Amos, and Shmona Amos, Rabbeinu Starfos. Between the two, even though they're the same tree, nevertheless they make a kerem. If they're between more than 4 amos, or more than 4 amos, less than 8 amos between the two of them. They have any Starfos. If not, they don't do it together. They make a kerem. Kevin Shiyavsha, Surah, a grapevine which is dried. You're not allowed to plant within 6 tefachim of it. Like any other grapevine, any Makadeshes. But it doesn't make it Kilei HaKerem. And remember, after Semer Geffen also made a Kaddish. A very remarkable thing. Semer Geffen is what it means today in Hebrew, cotton. Cotton looks like it's like a grapevine. That's why it's called Semer Geffen. So even Semer Geffen causes Kilei HaKerem. But not the, it's Usher. It doesn't make Kilei HaKerem. I guess because it's a good Rabban. Because people might come and get mixed up. Elizabeth says even on top of a geffen, the Moshe explains even when you put it on the ground and there isn't 3 tefachim, it still not mekadesh. We don't pass that way, unfortunately. Elu asurim lo mekachin, and these are things which are usur and not mekadesh. In other words, they don't make Kilei HaKerem. Mosar Churban HaKerem, Mosar Machol Kerem, Mosar Piskeris, Mosar Apifioris. So all these things are excesses of things which we learned previously in the Masechta. And the Gemara is going to explain what all these things are. So we'll leave these until we get to the Gemara. Avotachas HaGeffen, Vavodas HaGeffen, but underneath the grapevine, and within the avodah of a geffen, 6 tvachim or 4 amos of Arba Moshe Bekerem, and 4 amos, 6 tvachim of an individual geffen, and 4 amos from in a vineyard. Harei elu mekachin, that actually makes true Kilei HaKerem, which is also bound up. On Rabbi Lezer Locha the Rabbi Meirhi. The Moshe says, "Come Rabbi Lezer first. Only tiny geffen shav shasura." That which it says a geffen which dried up is asur ve'ena mekadeshes. It's not mekadesh. That too. Time of the whole shishavsha ain't iser leaves rabbi tzida and made marasayin. The reason why now to plant next to it is only because of marasayin. Because ain't mekadeshes. Finally, come on. This is saying the halach relation. Nami Rabbi Meir. There's also Rabbi Meir. The you savar after semer geffen at semer. Also says as well chatchil but see mishum marasayin. Says cotton looks like grapevine, so therefore it's oskas marasayin. And this halacha also, the ilan dama geffen, because the cotton tree looks like grapevine. It's not in mekadesh, but you plant it, it doesn't make it a kerem. But the geffen, same thing with the dried up geffen. Okay, so the nicha b'sizvasa. So I understand that this is true in the fall. Afilu b'keita, even is it true even in the summer? The Moshe says the asl chatchil is rabbi tzad gevet shiyavsha fish shnira kiyavesha. Our enivesha shemachas kor hu shenosh nalin. Avaketa make a memar. So he says I understand in the winter. Okay, it's not really dead. It looks dead. Because it's winter. But what about the summer? Dead is dead. Who's going to make a mistake? right? You might make a mistake in the winter. You might think that it's dead, and you might plant when it's actually stuff is growing there. Generally means that in the winter it's lav dafka mekadesh, even though because since it's dormant, perhaps it's not mekadesh in winter. Interesting point. But but I understand that there's a Marasayan issue. But if it's dead in the summer, who's going to think that this is extrapolating this to regular grapevine? So is asking the metarfan tarfan afil b'kitzer. Yeah, there are even grapevines that lose leaves in the summer. So therefore, yes, you'll come to get mixed up and say, well, it's not really dead. It's perhaps this is growing. And I mean, you might mistake, since you can put plant next to this one which is dead, you might put mistake plant next to one which is growing, but its leaves have fallen off. Shuvah Shem Rabbi Zira said, Al Gabi is Morahimas Lisa. So I wrote here on the side more. It's hard to understand what he's talking about. And so I think that Agabe Zmar means the where it's planted in the ground. Uh, this. I don't know what I wrote it actually. Doesn't be going on this. I think it's going on the next part of the Gemara. Never mind. So Agavis Marahimas Nisa. The Agabe, I think it's going on the Agabe Geffen. And he's saying Agabe Geffen doesn't mean, in English, doesn't mean on top of a grapevine. It actually means on top of the branch which is going underground. Yes, that's correct. Boom Barchi Hashem Shmuel Yitzchak said, "Avir Asari Mastisa." I'm just talking about Avir of 10. Rabbi Yossi, we'll come back to this in a minute. Having sovereign, we thought we were the opinion. Erkem Yeshlo Avir. A Kerem has airspace. Kerem Yichidus Ein Avir. An individual Geffen does not have airspace. So I wrote here on the side of my Gemara. It seems that the Hamin is that Avir, airspace, is a thing which has to do with Archoka from the Ramos. So even further than Kidei Nika, there's a Chashivas of which takes hold of the land vertically, right? It's Archoka of Ramos. And also horizontally, horizontally, Ramos. And vertically, the Archoka is 10 Tvachim, right? So the only Isser if planting above a grapevine would be a 10 Tvachim above it. Not within 10 Tvachim above it, not beyond 10 Tvachim. So therefore, the Gemara is going to say, it says that perhaps even further, right? The first of Yerushalmi it says Avir Sor Masnisa, right? And he seems to be arguing on Rabbi Bun Bar Chia, and not Rabbi Bun Chia, Rabbi Shmuel B'Shem Rabbi Zira. Rabbi Shmuel B'Shem Zira said Agabe Geffen is with the Zmoras underneath, and Rabbi Bun Bar Chia Shem Rishon says no, we're talking about not with the Zmoras underneath the ground. We're talking about above the Geffen, and above the Geffen up to 10 Tfachim is also to plant. Okay, it's also to have plants there. Rabbi Yossi, and then Rabbi Yossi having something Kerem Yeshlo Avir. But an individual Geffen doesn't have Avir. Rabbi Bun Bar Chia B'Shem Rabbi Shmuel Bar Yitzchak Avir Sor Masnisa Damra Fil Geffen Yichidus Yeshlo Avir. So if I would have thought that only a Kerem has 10 Tfachim, and because it's like the 4 Amos horizontally, you get 10 Tfachim vertically. So then, Rabbi Bun Bar Yitzchak said, Bun Bar Chia B'Shem Rabbi Shmuel Yitzchak said, our Mishnah, which talks about an individual Geffen, is talking also has Avir 10 Fachim. So if that's the case, Avir 12 10 Fachim also is an issue by a Geffen Yichidi, not just by a Kerem. As long as you have 6 tefachim from each of the last vines, anything beyond those 6 tefachim is not, it doesn't answer. Okay. Most Apifuris, we had, that's the trellis, where the vines are going out on a trellis and they continue further along that trellis. So he said, whatever it's going to grow further, it's usher. You can't plant underneath that. So he's saying here that it's again, that's l'chatchila. But b'diavad, if you had 6 tefachim between the end of the grapevine, wherever it ends at the moment, and where you plant it, it's not also b'diavad. Okay, beinosai mo. So the in between, what's the status? So we have if you have the you have a kerem gadol, and between in a kerem gadol there's a maximum 60 amos between rows, and still considered to be one kerem. So now what happens if you have less than 60 amos between the rows? So it's just, in this case, what I say also, like I said before, well, as long as 4 amos from each row, it's okay. So it says the Gemara, Be'esayim Ma'ara B'Yochamar Asu Mekadesh, because the same kerem carries over. It's not a special case. It's a kerem. So therefore, if you have a moment you have less than 6 amos, can't plant anything. Rabbi Yerushalmi Kilayim Asu B'Edom Mekadesh. So if it's a large kerem, Rabbi Yerushalmi says it's also B'Sam Mekadesh. So Gemara says Manavshach kerem gadolu lamali churbano afilu mat. Well, actually, this is something. Well, this is going back. There's a question on Rishim and Lakish. Well, it's also bein a mekadesh. So if so. So in order to really understand this part, we have to remember that there can be up to 16 amos between rows when a kerem has at least 3 rows. If the kerem only has 2 rows, the maximum distance is 8 amos. It's a kerem katan, maximum distance is 8 amos between rows. Kerem gadol, the maximum distance is 16 amos between rows. Now, in the Mishnah, we spoke about a Machla Kerem Shkarab, and well, actually, the better case is the Churban Kerem, right? Most of Churban Kerem. That was the talk about where there's a bald spot between 2 krumim. If there isn't 16 amos there, you shouldn't plant. But if you did plant, it's only Mekadosh 4 amos from this and 4 amos from that. And the rest of the Karachas is also Chatchila plant there, but if you did, it doesn't answer. Okay, so according to Rish Lakish, why does it be Karachas a Kerem? In the kerem itself, you have the same halacha. That between rows of 16, when there's less than 16, and you plant, it's also b'nei mekadesh, right? So masha kerem gadolu lam li chorbano. Why does he korban? You might also korban Rishim and Lakish, right? And if you try to say it's kerem katanu, no, can't be. Ain't lo mochol. Then there's no mochol kerem. Mochel Kerem talks about the when you have 12 amos between the last tree in the Kerem and the wall of the Kerem. But that's a you only need 12 amos if it's a Kerem Gadol. It's Kerem Cotton, so it does, by definition, it can't stretch more than 8 amos no matter what. So it must be talking about a Kerem Gadol, right? So if it's about a Kerem Kerem Cotton, it can't be talking about Kerem Cotton in our Mishnah, because Kerem Cotton ain't machol. Elokenu Kerem, so this is what you talk about. But Kerem Gadol, have you talking about a Kerem Gadol, more than 3 rows or more? Shenota Mata Kerem Cotton, that was planted on the with 8 amos between the rows, and that's what the Mishnah is talking about, and therefore it's nothing to do with Reish Lakish Machlekes. Reish Lakish Machlekes is about a Kerem Gadol which is planted as a Kerem Gadol. What can you do between the rows? But there's a Kerem Gadol which is planted with the harchaka of Kerem Cotton with 8 amos between the rows, and therefore it's not comparable to the case of Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish. Rabbi Zera said Hadam Amar Ikem goes to Shmona. How Shmona? You planted Shmona. Uh, uh, well, actually, maybe we'll leave this for tomorrow because the Gra, the kind of change the gears from Ain to Yesh, from to so this and it's already on halfway through Sama Gemorah. So leave for tomorrow.